Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I formally declare open this Submissions Committee meeting of the Colac Otway Shire on the 8th of April 2025. The opening prayer. Almighty God, we seek your blessing and guidance in our deliberations on behalf of the people of the Colac Otway Shire. Enable this Council's decisions to be those that contribute to the true welfare and betterment of our community. Amen. I'd like to start this afternoon by acknowledging the traditional custodians and lawmakers of this land, their elders past and present, and welcome any descendants here today. Please be advised that this meeting is recorded and live streamed. With the exception of confidential matters, this includes the public participation sections of meetings. The live stream recording of this afternoon's meeting will be available on the website as soon as practicable. By participating in open meetings, individuals consent to the use and disclosure of the information they share at the meeting, including any personal and/or sensitive information. I note that there are only 4 councillors present, and I have apologies from Councillor Howard, Councillor Dudu and Councillor McCrickard. And I also note that CEO Ann Howard is an apology. All other councillors present. I move to the confirmation of minutes. I propose that we move to confirm the minutes of the Submissions Committee held on the 11th of March 2025. Do I have a mover? Councillor Potter. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Buchanan. I'll now put the motion to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter. Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Schramm carried 4-0. Declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? No. Move on now to verbal submissions from submitters. Council appreciates the community submissions on today's agenda item and values the effort put into both written and in-person contributions. Councillors review all submissions thoroughly and find them very useful. Today, people can restate or highlight parts of their submissions. I'll now read the names of the registered speakers. Please raise your hand when your name is called. Peter Jacobs. Thank you. Robert Gowden. Is that right? Sorry? Gordon. Thank you. We also have Clayton here if you'd like to speak. Thanks. Please note that this committee will hear submissions today, but no decisions will be made at this meeting. A decision on this matter will be made at a later meeting. Now we move on to item 5, the officer reports. Item 5.1, notice of intention to declare a public highway, Stanway Drive extension over freehold property. We have 3 people that have requested to speak to their submissions. Firstly, I invite Peter Jacobs to address the committee in person. Just noting we have a 5-minute limit. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jason. Look, firstly, I know we've only been given 5 minutes to talk, but this is a topic that probably needs explaining to a lot of the councillors, because I think most of you, apart from Chris and Jason and Ian and Doug, really don't frequent down there at all. Just quickly, that used to be the old government road, Stanway Drive. Now, for those who are not aware, that when Hugh Mason, who was the acting CEO, I put in a submission to make government road into Stanway Drive, which is my wife's name. my father-in-law and Paddy Harrington developed all those roads in Separation Creek and Wye River and did all subdivisions and put everything in. Subsequent to that, the Iluka Avenue had an extension down into my place. It was a dirt road. When the Shire named and granted Stanway Drive, they wrongly put the sign up, and so I changed that into my driveway. My driveway, I live in a valley just below Iluka Extension. Now, subsequent to the fires, we had landslip issues, erosion management issues, and there was supposedly funds from the federal and state government to make an exit from Wye River to Separation Creek and via the Great Ocean Road. If Paddy's Path was in slip or the Great Ocean Road ceased to be habitable. Now, that occurred, and from what I believe, that the Shire is now obliged to make that and keep that open as a road. Privately owned from Iluka Avenue down Iluka Extension and to my place in Stanway Drive was privately owned. Now, I know from the previous owner, Don Levy Fitzpatrick, spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars putting a 4-lot subdivision into that area. Curb and channeling, bitumen, and for some reason, at the time, Neil Ratcliffe, who was the attorney for Don Levy Fitzpatrick, tried to sell those blocks, but the Shire, I think through the erosion management overlay and the fire management overlay, was unable to sell any of the blocks, and so the subdivision never took place. I offer a solution to this problem of making it into a highway, and tell me if I'm wrong in saying that you are obliged to keep that open, that road. Clayton owns probably, 600 acres of land at the back of my place and going to the Big 4 caravan park. Now, Don Levy Fitzpatrick has tried and tried and tried, and so does Neil Ratcliffe, on getting some sort of development at the back of the caravan park called the Potato Patch. Nothing has been over the, probably 30, 40, 50 years that I've been down there. No one has been successful in doing any form of development. For me, it seems that now that it's been upgraded, Iluka Extension, and I think you need to have the historical section of that correct. It is not Stanway Extension. Stanway Drive goes from the Great Ocean Road, which is incorrect, and because it was the old Great Ocean Road. Stanway Drive really should start at my Carn. I've got a piece of land just at the start of Stanway Drive. That's where Stanway Drive should start, and all from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Stanway Drive at present should be on the Great Ocean, the old Great Ocean Road, which it is. Now, in light of that, that's the only section that has not been hot mixed or bitumenised. There is a road, being the old Great Ocean Road. What we're asking, if this becomes a highway, and look, I've noticed the increased traffic is unbelievable. Even though it's one way, even yesterday, concrete trucks are going up the other way. It's just a free-for-all, even all the signs. Yeah, okay. So I'm asking if that could be have a public walkway from the very top. There's no footpaths at all. It gets great usage during the summer. I'd like speed humps coming down into my place, because the speed humps, the road, the tradies there's 50, 60 kilometres an hour down that road, and sometimes my sheep get out and graze on the road. There are prams and people walking down that road with it's so dangerous. So we would like that addressed as well. The big picture of making this into a highway can be easily solved with a bit of negotiation through the owner. I experienced that myself 10 years ago when I subdivided 2 1-acre blocks on my property. I probably own, I don't know, 50 acres or something at the back there. I eventually, after 14 years, got my 2-lot subdivision through threatening this shire through the engineers. I then welcomed the idea of signing a 173 agreement on the balance of my land never to be developed in the bush, and I was very happy about that. I think this could be a solution for you guys today. Common sense. You can do it the hard way, or you can do it the easy way. I'm hoping there is a compromise solution here. Please take that on board.
Thank you for your time. Thanks. Thanks for your submission, Peter.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you. I now invite Robert Gordon to address the committee. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and thank you, Peter, for a bit of background in that what you've just said probably reinforces and provides more detail on the sort of stuff that I wanted to talk about. I take it that my submission with the photos has been presented to the councillors, and you have some awareness of what I want to talk about. In essence, I have no problems with the proposal. That this is actually a very important piece of infrastructure, and I think some sort of access way between the end of, or the north end of Iluka Drive and the Great Ocean Road is actually quite essential. I have a couple of provisos though, and they're listed in bullet points in my written submission. And I'd like to talk to those. The first one is that it really must be maintained as a one-way street, and you've just heard from Peter that people are driving up the wrong way. To have a Bunnings-type non-return metal device is obviously extreme, and you don't do that sort of thing. I don't know what the solutions are. That obviously goes to road design, but you really need to ensure that it's one way coming off the hill from Iluka Avenue down to Stanway Drive. The next item, and again Peter's highlighted the fact that people are doing 50 and 60 kilometres an hour. You've got to keep the speed down. There are pedestrians who walk up this road. If you don't put in a pedestrian way and people continue to walk up this road, then you're dealing with pedestrians on a road where cars are doing 50 and 60 kilometres an hour, and there are corners there where you can't sight pedestrians as the cars are coming down. The next item is what Peter's just mentioned, which is the sealing of the road. It needs to be completely sealed, and in that, the 150 odd metres between the cairn that Peter's described, which is outside around 7 or 9 Stanway Drive, and the Great Ocean Road, that needs to be sealed. And you also need to give consideration to the intersection coming out of Stanway Drive onto the Great Ocean Road is really quite a dangerous intersection. I'll mention a bit more of that in a moment. So the reasons that it's an important piece of infrastructure is the fact that it provides a means of access, or should I say an escape route, off the north end of Iluka Drive. If there's ever a bushfire, if ever people have to leave the hill, then this is really the only way down, rather than having to drive back towards the Wye River settlement. It's also a valuable piece of infrastructure because it connects the two settlements. And when there were landslides on the Great Ocean Road between Separation Creek and Wye River, it was used extensively for the community to basically be able to just get between Separation Creek, Wye River, and vice versa. In a previous life, prior to my retirement, I was actually a structural engineer, civil structural engineer. And I've designed a few roads in my time. One of the things you need to appreciate, as Peter just said, this was the Great Ocean Road. It was actually built by the Country Roads Board, and it would have been built to highway standards. That's not suburban standards, that's highway standards. In other words, the designers would have taken into account heavy vehicle axle loads and the frequency of those axle loads over the pavement, and as a consequence, the base material, sub-base material and the road construction that is there today underneath the gravel that's been scattered over the top is of a higher standard probably than the rest of Iluka Drive. It is national road standard. Therefore, I strongly recommend that someone go out there, scrape off the gravel, as the photos before you show, and you'll actually find the old pavement. I don't see it as a significant cost to put an asphalt surface over what already exists. It's not as if you're having to reconstruct a road here, you're just having to do a bit of maintenance underneath the gravel on a road that already exists. I also would like to see it sealed because of the dust and the noise. As Peter, again, it sounds like I'm continuing your talk. Yeah, the amount of traffic is whipping up dust. The noise, the speed of the cars that suddenly get to the bottom of the hill near Peter's property and they see the Great Ocean Road in front of them and they just accelerate to get to their destinations via the Great Ocean Road. Which leads me then to further discussion on the fact that the intersection is critical. The landscaping of that intersection is such that you really can't see vehicles that are coming from Wye River heading towards Lorne. They think they've left the settlement of Wye River, they start to accelerate, they're on a slight downhill run, and they are powering past the ends of our street at least 50 or 60 kilometres an hour, if not more. I know people who are so concerned about that intersection coming out of Stanway Drive that they will turn left, they go down into the Separation Creek area, they do a U-turn, and then they go back towards Wye River. It takes courage to actually do a right-hand turn out of Stanway Drive into the Great Ocean Road. And I, for one, always accelerate very hard as I come out, because the last thing I want to do is to be casually coming out and finding myself caught with a car coming from the right. There's a photo in my submission that shows the visibility that was actually taken out of the driver's side window. Finally, and maybe this is a little beyond the scope of this meeting, but in the future, I'd like this committee and the council to give consideration to what's happening on the other side of the Separation Creek Valley. There is a road over there that is an exact analogy to the road that we're discussing here, called the Dollar Drive. It is the only escape route for people who want to leave Separation Creek and access the Wye River Road. If that road is not open and there are gates across the road and there's some sort of private ownership that I don't fully understand, but if people can't get from Mitchell Grove, etc., down to the bottom of the valley and to the Great Ocean Road, then their only means of escape is over the hill via Wye River, and that road is not always open.
I'll have to nearly wind you up, Robert.
Yep,
well, thank you.
Yeah, I've finished. Thank you very much for your time, and good luck in your consideration.
All right, thank you. Thanks for your submission. Appreciate
Cheers.
it. Would you like to speak, Clayton? Just- Thanks, Clayton.
My name is Clayton Pearce. Excuse me if I'm a little bit jittery in the voice. I'm a little bit intimidated by all the suits. I'm probably used to doing this with muddy boots on. We own the real estate on the said road that you're talking about. So we own the land and we own the road. To say I'm frustrated with some of the councillors' response time on and information on where we're at and what's happening is an understatement. I've put in our submission dated the 25th of the 2nd, 2025. In short terms, I suppose, like I said, we own the road, we own the real estate. If we don't agree that it is a public highway, there's been pre-survey done prior to the road being built that will show that the road was non-trafficable due to the longitudinal sections and cross sections of the road. But we want what the law says. If the law says that we're to be compensated, we want compensation, and that's about where we're at. That's all.
Okay.
We want whatever the law says we're entitled to. That's what we want.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Clayton, for your submission.
Bye.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, councillors. There's a recommendation in the submissions report. Does any councillor wish to move that recommendation? Councillor Hudgell is to be seconded. Councillor Potter. Councillor Hudgell is the mover. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. First of all, I'd just like to thank Peter, Robert and Clayton for coming in and speaking to us today. I really appreciate your time, and I know that it's a lot of work being able to prepare for something like this and coming in and speaking and taking time out of your day to come in. So please note that it's really appreciated by all of us. So thank you very much. It was really nice to hear from you all.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Potter? No? Any other councillor wish to speak? No? Just want to echo Councillor Hudgell's sentiments. Thank you for taking the time to come here and submit today, and also your written submissions. And I'd also like to thank the other submitters that didn't come today to do a verbal submission. We appreciate you taking the time to do that. Thank you. Councillor Hudgell, right a reply? No? We have that motion before us, councillors. We'll now put it to a vote. All those in favour? Councillor Potter, Councillor Hudgell, Councillor Buchanan, Councillor Schramm is carried 4-0. Thank you. That concludes the submissions committee meeting of the Colac Otway Shire. I declare this meeting closed at 3:24 p.m. Thank you everyone for attending.